AI agents are making unauthorized purchases, leaving consumers vulnerable to unexpected charges. What steps can ensure that clear user authorization for these transactions takes place? Let's bring in Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. So here we are, a world of AI agents, and they're doing what they like.
Look, I would love an AI agent to do my Christmas shopping for me. I have to admit, it sounds like a dream to me, but I wouldn't want them making...
Hang on, you give me a calendar every year. You know what you get.
That's you, but yeah, I have other family and things like that. But yeah, but sometimes they're going off. Still, AI makes mistakes. So imagine you've set it to go and do a task, but the purchases must be authorized by you before they make them, but they go off and do them anyway. And it's something ridiculous, some exorbitant amount of money. And then you're left going, how can I get this back now? And there's no real sort of trail to give to the organisation that made your purchase from, to then say, can I have my money back?
Exactly, blame AI. I don't see that as a tick box excuse for getting your money back. This is something I've always wondered about, these AI agents in this world where it's like they can book you an Uber or they can book you a flight. And it's, yeah, but do they know what to look for? Do they know how to look for the cheapest option, or maybe not the cheapest, but the best value perhaps, where you get things included? Do they know these things? Probably not yet is the reality. Is this technology that we're using ahead of its time?
I think maybe. I don't think it's there yet to put 100% trust in it. That's what I'll say. And even I saw some TikTok with Tony Robbins where he was talking about one of his AI agents went off and made a purchase and then had it delivered to his house and all this sort of thing. I can't remember the exact details, but I'm thinking, wow, I don't know if I would want an AI agent to have access to my credit card yet. I think I would like to know what was going on, because it just takes any sort of really ambiguous instruction or something like that, and then it will go off and do something that you weren't expecting it to do. And then you're in big trouble, because that's right. How do you get your money back when that actually happens?
And so the biggest flaw here is the verification system. You mentioned about how you're meant to be able to sign off on it, but that isn't happening. Why not?
I think it depends. I think it can happen, absolutely. But I think there might be times where we've talked previously about agents getting out of sandboxes and accessing the internet. So it's not 100% secure yet, where it's actually doing everything that you ask it to. And so I think maybe in some cases it does do that, but then there's always that anomaly where things can go wrong.
Yeah, very much. And I guess relying on AI agents could lead to more consumer fraud here as well. And the idea of the laws probably haven't yet kept up in terms of consumer laws. It's one thing to have a change of mind, but to say, I accidentally purchased this giant thing because an AI agent did it on my behalf, could become either a really good excuse or a real frustration.
Oh, absolutely. And there have been reports where certain websites have code in them hidden that then derail the instructions of the AI agent and then get it to do things that make purchases and things like that as well. So on sort of dodgy websites. So yeah, so as I said, it's not 100% secure, and the instructions you give it may not actually be the ones that are followed. And yeah, there's a lot of variability in that. So I would not yet put my trust in it, even though I can't wait for the day that I can, and it will just tell it to go and do things and it will do it on my behalf. But yeah, I wouldn't do it yet.
And talk to us about how companies could also evade responsibility for AI actions here. What could they do in response?
That's the thing. I think that there's no sort of grounds. They're asking for proof, but it'd be like saying the dog ate my homework on a situation. As you were saying, like if someone comes to you and says, look, I made this by mistake, and it will depend on their returns policy, really, won't it? Whether they actually do it. If there's nothing wrong with the product, can they return it, or do they just do a credit note? There are no sort of policies around AI agents shopping on your behalf.
And the trouble is that if you have to sit there and watch what the AI agent gets up to, you don't really need it in the first place. It's kind of like having an employer that you constantly have to hold their hand. I might as well do this myself. Talk to us about the challenges there when it comes to authorization.
I think the problem is when AI agents go rogue and they do what they want, or the instructions are not 100% clear and really stipulated exactly what it can and can't do, because I think AI agents are very good at finding those sort of blurry areas and then just making up the details and then acting on those. So yeah, I think that's the problem. There needs to be, I guess, maybe in the future, when AI agents are doing our shopping for us, there will be those verification steps in the purchasing process, possibly, that websites actually enforce. But at this point in time, it's a bit like the Wild West.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. The South Australian Premier's Royal Commission into AI aims to tackle urgent educational challenges that could hinder student learning. So what are the key risks of AI in education? This is a fascinating one. So Peter Malinauskas headed over to the US. He had photographs with Tim Cook at Apple Park. He was there in Silicon Valley, obviously to try and drum up some business for AI data centres and the like for South Australia to get our budget back in order. He's come back and announced an AI Royal Commission that my first thought was, what's South Australia got to do with an AI Royal Commission? And is this in response to the fact that maybe he didn't get what he wanted out of these tech companies? He'll hit them with a Royal Commission. Talk to us about the claims of being nation leading here when it comes to this AI Royal Commission.
Yeah, I think he's trying to really push his own barrow and show how innovative he is and how innovative South Australia is with this new initiative. But the biggest challenge is going to be Royal Commissions don't happen overnight. They take a long time and the technology is moving rapidly. Will it even be able to keep up with what's going on? And by the time they do the report, will it even be relevant to what's happening at the time the report finally comes out? So maybe he's trying to hold platforms and companies to account, and maybe it's a negotiating tactic to get what he wants. But yeah, I think that's going to be the hardest part. I found interesting though, in terms of education, he's trying to find out ways that students can use AI effectively without getting it to do their work and their learning for them. And I'll be interested to see what comes of that for sure.
Yes, you work at a university. This has obviously been an ongoing thing, and it sounds like Claude may have already answered this by putting a watermark so we can see here as well. What risks do you see AI posing in education?
Look, I think it depends on how students use it. So if I would like my students to be able to use it well, because the way that I find students are using it, and I can't talk for everyone, is that it's generally the students who are not engaging with the learning materials. And so they'll hand in an assignment and it's not the assignment that I've set. And it's because you need to be the subject matter expert when you're using AI so you can prompt it correctly, so you know what is right and wrong. And so if you don't understand the task at hand and then you just farm it out to AI, it doesn't mean it's going to do it correctly for you. So often they don't do well because it's not because they've used AI, it's because they haven't done the assignment that I've set them. So yeah,
so I'm trying to imagine Rue, the student who uses AI against you as the person marking and reading it. I would feel very sorry for them indeed. Let's talk about this Royal Commission though. Is it a reaction, a political reaction to pressure from the public and the labour unions, for example? Because we're suddenly seeing the governments in Australia turning their attention, federal as well, to AI, but not how can we use it to save money, but how can we prevent it from making people more productive?
Yeah, I think it's been the topic of conversation for a long time, and it's taken the government a while to move on it. And I think it's a good thing that they finally are. But yeah, the outcomes are going to be very interesting because you're right. We're not looking at how we can actually leverage it at the moment. It's more around what we can stop it doing. How can we control it? You're right. I don't know if it's really a holistic view. Rather, it seems to be almost punitive, like looking at what can we do to prevent the impact, rather than looking at how can we actually harness the positive impacts and reduce the negative impact.
Doesn't sound like us at all. Dr. Karen Sutherland, we'll talk to you again soon. We'll do it our way, no matter what.
Of course.